It's 25 after 7. A very good morning if you've just joined us. This is TMS here on ETV. We carry an African spirituality theme on a Tuesday. And without fail, Umkhulu Siyamkiza, who is our African spirituality advisor, joins us. This morning we're talking about Isiphandla, also known as, by the 2Ks, I'm a 2000s, the African bracelet, you know it. We asked you for your views. I mean, is this something that you've worn? Do you understand the significance of it? And, you know, what has it been the significance of it, or you wearing it in your life, right? Let's continue the conversation, Kulu. Right now, obviously, we find that some people wear more than one Isiphandla, right? Yeah. Sometimes on both wrists. Please take us through what the reasons for that would have been and how that would happen.
It depends on umsebenzi that's being done. So the last time I wore both on each wrist is because abazali bami had to do umsebenzi wokubonga, hence my name, Siyabonga. Right? So I wore they had a female sheep and a male sheep, and then on the left for Izalwazi, right? Kakabo mama to thank for Izalwazi for my birth. I wore it on this one.
All the women in the family.
Exactly, and then I wore the other one on the right.
Okay.
Right? Sometimes people wear multiple sheep because because remember, if yenkomo, for example, I'm not just going to do inkomo. There's going to be imbuzi as well. Or there's many reasons why I'm doing imbuzi. Lenye is tebe, and then another one is going to be imbeleko. Right, for example. You see, then obviously you'd wear Isiphandla. Growing up, if you're wearing more than like two or three, I begin to question whether you understand the spirituality behind themselves. And a lot of the times you hear abantu bathi no, ngiyasiqinisa, you know, ngenza lokhu nalokhu. And growing up, I mean, I've always seen my dad wearing maybe two or three, you know, not many. I want to end up ukuthi ubona umuntu agqoka iphandla zu 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No. I don't get it.
And I'm only laughing because I've seen it. And I've also had the same question. Let's roll your voice note, South Africa, please.
Sanibonani. Ngicela ukubuza mina mkhulu ukuthi iqiniso yini ukuthi umuntu mayezufaka isiphandla engasiwa leso sibongo uyasangana yini? Asithi isiphandla sifakwa khabo baba. Angithi. And then kunomntwana olama mina ekungasiyena okababa bese sifaka isiphandla yena ugcine sesangana yini ngekhanda ngoba ngezwe kusho kanjalo.
This is an ongoing conversation that we usually have with Siyamkiza, and it's worth revisiting. Is that thinta yona indaba yesibongo? You've got kids of the same mom, different fathers, or one baba wenza umsebenzi. For, you know, obviously kunephandla lezi ezinye ingane ekungezona ezalo baba sifaka lesiphandla usisi athi apparently it's alleged ukuthi kunomsangano obakhona.
Well, they won't lose their minds. There's a variety, a whole host of possible spiritual outcomes, right? It can be physical illness, it can be mental illness, it can be ukshayek in terms of emsebenzini, their careers can be affected. There's a variety, a whole host of outcomes spiritually that can take place. But it is very, very dangerous to put Isiphandla on ingane where they are not of your bloodline, or imfanelo as ubaba have not been done. Ingane akakakhishwa nje kahle, or you've only paid inhlawulo for leyo ngane. The biggest problem now that is being faced is that we are putting on Isiphandla on ingane without imfanelo being done. And if you are going to do that, right? If mina ngifaka isiphandla kwingane that's mine, but I haven't done the correct protocol, right? Then before we can actually correct that, you have to cleanse that mistake first.
Because you've jumped the gun.
Exactly. When you've jumped the gun, this is a big mistake people do. People think, oh, okay, cool, you got Isiphandla the wrong surname, fine, let's just do it kakabo mam, right? No, you have to cleanse the mistake first, then you can rectify it.
Sure. It's a conversation we are definitely going to revisit, right? Because it keeps coming up. Let's play the next voice note, please.
Dumelang. Kinkele Mososhanguve. My question is, rona mapedi, re gola go phasiwa, mara we don't wear Isiphandla. So are we practicing our culture wrong or is it right? Because go phatliwa ka pudi and then ge fetsa a re apare Isiphandla. So is it wrong for us not to wear Isiphandla? Thank you.
Oh, okay.
That is a straightforward question.
Yeah. No, there's nothing wrong with not wearing ispanja. Absolutely, the Abapedi are not doing anything wrong.
Right.
You know, because again, ispanja is something that's very, very specific to Tina Mazulu. Even then, within the Zulu culture and within the Zulu nation and the group, not everybody, you know, you know, not everybody wears ispanja. So it is more of imkuba, right, than isigo. So if they're not wearing it as Bedi people, they're perfectly fine. And at the end of the day, the most important isigo, that's how I direct my clients, is I give you a guide. So I'll give you like a skeleton. Okay, spiritually, these are the most important things.
Yeah.
But in terms of inyama, right, isiko lasekhaya must always trump.
Okay.
Always. And if you say siyabonga anginalo isiko lasekhaya, then I can give you a little bit of isiko to start the process. And once you start it, then idlozi lizokhuluma lifike lithi okay fine siyabonga uthi usiyabonga said you must do it like this. Kodwa la ekhaya we don't want you ukuthi uyinquma imbuzi uzoyigwaza ngomkhondo.
Right.
Exactly.
And then khona nalabo abasithengayo phela isiphandla lapha kwaMayemya. These are days. We're going to take a quick break.
Everything's for sale.
Nelisiwe Mbape standing by to give you your sports news here on TMS on E. Stay with us. It's coming up to 15 minutes after 7. It's the second hour of TMS here on ETV. A very good morning. If you've just joined us in our African Spirituality Corner, namhlanje Umkhulu CM Kiza joins us live right now to talk about the African bracelet. No, it's not this. It's called Isiphandla, right? Is this something you wear, have worn? Do you know what it's for, how it's used? Let's start the conversation right there. Thokoza Mkhulu, I mean, how do we exactly define what Isiphandla is for someone who's hearing the word for the first time and someone who's never seen or heard of it?
So ispanja, loosely translated, you can translate to the African bracelet, but ispanja is a piece or a part of the four-legged animal that you have slaughtered, right? So you'd put it on, depending on whether you're using your mother or father's surname, that would determine on what arm you would put it on. So if you are born in complete wedlock and usebenzisa isibongo sika baba, you would use your right. If you're using isibongo sika mawako, you'd put it on your left, right? That's why even amakhandlela masphahla, the left candle, maternal side, right candle, father's side. Okay.
And I've heard as well, in the very few times I've been present, maklacho, it has to be taken from a specific leg of the animal, the left or the right, or does that not matter?
No, it doesn't really matter where it's coming from. So if kumsebenzi wembuzi noma imvu, you can just take a piece of the skin and then you just make a small slit. And
from anywhere?
From anywhere, really, and you just roll it onto your arm. But not all, akuzona zonke iphandla that come from isikhumba. Sikhona isiphandla senyongo. So when you do memulo sometimes, or umuntu esifazana ayithelwe ngenyongo uyagcagcisa and she's marrying into the family, then sikhona isiphandla where you take the gallbladder of the actual goat or the sheep and you'd cut it and then you'd roll it over to the arm. So inyongo as well can also become isphandla. It's not only iskhumba that can be isphandla. Or with inyongo, sometimes they would blow it up and then you'd actually tie it and then you'd wear it, and sometimes you'd wear it around your neck and stuff like that.
I saw that last year in November when we made umemulo, when there was a memulo ceremony for my younger sister, Unompumelelo. What is the purpose, Kulu, for Isiphandla?
Okay, so the purpose of Isiphandla, number one, it determines where lo msebenzi took place. Right? If I'm on the right, you know what lo msebenzi took place, Kabobaba.
Okay.
Right? On the left, took place kabomama.
Right.
Right? But more importantly, it's also an acknowledgement of umsebenzi that took place. ukuthi le nkomo noma lesilwane lesi besihlatshiwe was for me, and it is intended for my spiritual nourishment.
Oh.
Is it compulsory? Not necessarily.
Okay.
Yes, Tina Amazulu, it is a big thing.
Yeah.
Right? But I always tell my non-Zulu clients that if you do umsebenzi and you don't wear ispanja, it's completely okay. It's not going to affect the spiritual outcome and success of lo msebenzi.
Okay, let's bring you in as our morning show viewer, Namhlanje Kuseni here in TMS in our African spirituality theme. Do you wear ispanja? Do you believe in it? What has been the significance when you have had a ceremony and you were required to wear ispanja been in your life? Let us know. You can send us a video or a WhatsApp voice note. It is quicker. Our number's at the bottom of your screen. It's 072 411 6528. Right now, I mean, which part of the goat or sheepskin? Can sheepskin also be used to cut ispanja for somebody?
Well, yes, you can definitely use sheepskin, but remember the sheepskin at the back and more the sides have a lot of fur, so you'd have to be taking the skin near the belly. Yeah, so you can use sheepskin to make ispanja, though it's not really common. Most of the time ispanja comes from inkomo, or would come from a goat, because the skin's more pliable and it's actually easier to put that on.
Right.
That being said, as much as I'm saying that it's not compulsory to put on ispanja, if you do decide to put on ispanja, right? I would say for at least 7 days you should be wearing it.
Yes.
Okay? And then you would cut it off. Right? You cut it off, or umkhulu or babuako, or whomever the elder in the family is, can tell you to cut it off. It should never be someone at school or at work telling you that no, it's not part of the uniform and whatnot, therefore remove it.
Right.
You see? So places and certain schools and organizations that have policies against ispanja don't actually realize that, apart from it being discrimination, but you're really spiritually stunting the growth of this particular individual. Because if I'm doing imbeleko, my introduction to my surname, right? Lespanja les that I'm wearing, okay, is no different to how some white families wear a family crest on the ring.
Right.
It's the exact same principle.
Or some cultures wear a string around their wrist as well. Same significance, same symbolism, right?
So if this comes off, then that must come off as well. So if you can understand why your family crest is important to your finger, right, then you can also understand why ispanja is important around my wrist.
Speaking about that, is there someone in the family who's designated to put ispanja on you? Meaning, must it be an elder that cuts it for you and puts it on your wrist?
So I would say it's an elder, but it's not really. Most of the time it will be a male, because ibona abantu besilisa in the family abenza umsebenzi wokuhlinza, that is, right? So for us, it's always been my uncle. My dad's never really done one for me. It's always been my uncle, but uyeno ohlabi inkomo and everything. He does all
by default. He's the one who's there.
Uncle. Yeah, my uncle does it for me. Were my uncle and my father late, then I would do it for my son, or my elder brother would do it for me and my son.
In the instance, and we've spoken about this, where the family dynamics, consist of only women in the family, right? And it's a women-run family household. How then do you navigate those waters when there is a ceremony required and kunesiphandla kufanele siphume kulesilwane?
So, as I've said before, if there's no men in the family and umuntu wesifazane kumele ukuthi aphahle, obviously ngesikhathi eshisa impepho uzophahle ukuthi no bantu abadala. I know it's unconventional that ngikhulume, but there are no men in the family, therefore I ask that you allow me to speak. Sure. Right? And then if it's the same person ophahlaya can be the same person who prepares his panja. Who prepares his panja isn't really significant. It's not really spiritually significant who actually prepares it. As long as it's prepared by a family member, that's the first thing. And it's also prepared by someone known as Isiphandla. Okay, spiritually speaking, then everything should be fine.
Very quickly, in 20 seconds, how do you stop then ukunuka? It has a stench. Ispanja, right? You see us laughing. And this is a real thing, right? And we've heard many remedies from people saying, no, what's the best remedy that you can give us in terms of tips this morning?
So what I usually do is you got to keep rolling it. Keep rolling it so that it becomes nice and tight. Right? When it's tight, it's going to dry quicker. The quicker it dries, the sooner the smell goes away. Also, in my experience, the only time ispanja sinuka is when kukhona ukushaya amanzi emsebenzini, right? In terms of umsebenzi.
What?
So the times back in the, I mean, my family has quite a very deep and long history. The times when umsebenzi was not okay, iphandla bezinuka. Right?
Oh.
But when umsebenzi uhambe kahle,
yeah,
and there were no issues emsamo,
right,
okay, then isiphandla siyanuka. That's why we need to talk about it. That's why isibongo is important, because a lot of people bathola umsebenzi kakhabo baba because basho no uyabangwa, you need to go do umsebenzi kakhabo baba, and then leso siphandla siyanuka. And if let's phandla siyanuka for a week, for 2 weeks,
yeah,
kukhona ukushaya amanzi. It's the same as ukuya emsebenzini and then either the animal dies or inyama iyabola, or abantu bayagula baphathwe yisisu after going from lo msebenzi.
That means something.
Exactly. So isiphandla kahle isiphandla shouldn't be smelling.
Okay.
It shouldn't. If it does for a prolonged period of time,
yeah,
right? Hey, khona ukushaya amanzi. Like I'm saying, my sister's done the one layer nyong, rolls. She hasn't even used, we've never used salt. You just keep rolling it and then it doesn't smell.
Sure. Does yours smell? Let us know on 072 411 6528. It sounds like a funny question, but it's a serious one and it has an impact on your life as well, as Umkhulusi Mkiza has just elaborated. We'll take a quick ad break. When we come back, we continue this conversation and we'll hear your views on the matter.